right. First, we want to thank you all so much for what you all have done the last 3 days, the last 2 days especially. Jeff was just saying, we were talking about when we were in high school. You know, we're talking about being in these types of festivals. And we want you all to understand the type of love and investment we feel towards you. We understand exactly what this is about. And we truly have enjoyed your performances, and we appreciate all of the efforts that it took for you to get here and to play. We appreciate everything, from the nervousness to wondering whether you did good, to wondering who won. But rest be assured, we enjoyed every minute of it. And we are so respectful of what you all have done. And we congratulate all of you heartily, and your band directors and parents and the community that supports you all. And we appreciate the type of supreme effort that you all have given here these last 3 days. So we would like for parents and directors to give you all applause. Rich DeRosa. Great judge. Sometimes when we're judging the great judges, take a lot of notes. It's a lot of writing. Remembers kids, their names, what did they play, the contours of their solos. Unbelievable job. A lot of integrity. It's his 29th wedding anniversary. His wife ain't gonna come out here and do this. They say she made him come out. She made him come out. But also, phenomenal judge. If you all know that what he put into it, the notes that he took, the seriousness that he took this job, and how he could recall how bands played, what he thought we should do. A+. Vincent Gardner, phenomenal. Same thing. Notes. Oh yeah. Great job. Always trying to look out for the trombone sections. Yeah. Berger. We all come at it from different perspectives, so naturally when you get your sheets, you'll have sometimes completely contrasting opinions. We argue a lot, all in love. We've all been judged. Part of being judged is sometimes people like what you play, sometimes they don't. It doesn't mean you can't play, it doesn't mean you can't. But you kind of find out the middle ground. Take what you can use from what people say. What you can't use, don't take it. You go to a banquet, you don't have to eat everything on the table. Eat what you like, and then try a few things that's not going to make you sick. That's how we look at it. We all have different opinions and approaches to playing. That's what makes us unique. So we, of course, have different opinions and approaches to judging and what we think something should be. I'm going to review the criteria. What we judge by: one, soulfulness. Maybe we can have each person can say something, so it's not just me talking. Let's talk about soulfulness. Talk about soulfulness.
Well, in terms of soulfulness, I'm looking for people's individuality and joy in music and feeling for the blues. And just a general camaraderie, second feeling from the band that makes me happy. That's what does it for me.
Okay. The next is the rhythm section.
The heartbeat of the band. And we heard some very very fine rhythm sections in the last 2 days. And how they play together is what we were really focusing on. And the idea, as you all know, is for the rhythm section to play in such a fashion that they make the rest of the band feel like coming into that groove that they provide for them. And as a rhythm section player, we always need to think about what we can do to make everyone else in the band sound even better than they think they might be able to sound. So playing with that in mind is always a team effort, and you're always listening for someone else and thinking of someone else while you're playing. Because how many of us here really like the way we sound? We don't, oh man, I didn't like that. So don't listen to yourself. Listen to everybody else in the band. And don't focus so much on yourself. Don't put the blinders on. And being a rhythm section player, you embrace the band and invite them into the groove that you provide for the rhythm section. So we really focused on rhythm sections that play well together and were able to adjust if something happened. So, and I thought most bands did a very good job this weekend.
Now we're going to talk about soloing and improvisation.
So when discussing solo and improvisation, I think we're all looking for, first of all, are you playing the changes when you take the solo? And is what you're playing, it doesn't have to be what was on the record. It doesn't, you don't have to play a solo from 1930 or whatever, but you have to play a solo that sounds genuine enough and as well as based enough in the changes to fit and to keep the propulsion of the arrangement going. And so we look for that kind of thing to make sure that not only are you playing the changes, but does it sound genuine and not like an imitation or something. So I think that's the main thing. Oh, right. And if you, sometimes people are playing the written solos that are out on the paper. And we encourage you at all times to improvise and make up your own solos. So the highest scores we gave for people that played their own solos, but we didn't completely penalize you if you played the written solo well. Just that you will get higher scores for playing your own improvised solo.
I think interpretation. Rich is such a fantastic arranger. There's so much, such an encyclopedic knowledge of the styles and the colors of interpretation.
Yeah, I was thinking about what all of you are doing as performers, and you're like actors in a play. And so what makes an actor bring a script, make it come alive, is not memorizing the script or delivering the line, but it's the expression that you bring to it. It's knowledge of the entire scope of the story. And of course, with dramas that unfold on stage or in film, it's easier to kind of get a sense of what the story is, what the plot line is, and so forth. In music, it's always a little bit more abstract, but nonetheless, there is a storyline. And there are a lot of things like the happy-go-lucky local, for instance. It's more obvious what's going on there. And other types of music are more abstract, but there is still a hierarchy of events that occur in every piece of music. The main theme, the counter themes, the homophonic texture, what we refer to as harmonic pads that support melodies. There are the background figures that are introduced behind an improvisation. And so a lot of times those are the things that I would be listening for, that most backgrounds in this type of music are designed to stoke the fire, to instill greater energy, and to encourage the soloist to take it to the next level of intensity. And if those backgrounds aren't delivered in an enthusiastic way that don't overpower the soloist, and that's the thing about blend within the section and then balance within, just the support group, stay underneath the main event and yet not overpower it. Those are some very subtle things that aren't necessarily evident in the written page, and that requires deeper sensitivity, and really for that each of you understands what your role is, so that you can look at the chart and say, okay, at letter A, I've got a support thing, so I need to, regardless of what it says, mezzo piano or mezzo forte, to be aware of what is the main event, what is the level, the volume of that. And so, for example, you might play backgrounds behind trombone soloists that could be very raucous. And then all of a sudden you've got maybe a tenor player that's playing with a very subtone kind of sound, so that it doesn't really matter if it says MP or MF. The idea is to gauge the volume of the soloist and the level of the nuance or the softness of the tone or the harder edge of the tone is to match those things. And those cannot be written down no matter how any of us as arrangers would try to convey that on paper. It's always a failing task. So we're reliant on all of you as performers to bring our musical play, our musical script to life and to bring the most expression and dimension to those works. So a lot of our comments, not just mine, but I'm sure all five of us have spoken to those points at some point. All right?
All right, and so far as the last one, which is basic musicianship and technique, just playing it too, is your section together. I'm not, most of us, we don't go by notes. We miss notes, we human. That, sometimes that makes the music sound better. The question is, are you prepared to play the notes? Is it an accident or is that just the way you planned it? And being in tune, difficult passages, how did you address them? Tempo, dynamics, basic things about music. Playing with precision inside of the section. Attention to detail things that just speak more to your integrity and your presentness and your ability to focus and concentrate. Once again, we're not hardliners for that. We go for the overall feeling, but we do, because we're judging people, we start to check down. So somebody really plays something with a lot of feeling and intensity and it's accurate, somebody else is not accurate. Naturally, we're going to need to work on the ones who were accurate, but we're not overly accurate. We're not obsessed with the accuracy to where we're counting, you know. So I want to say that we have a lot of philosophical debates. I'm not going to talk on and on. I know you already know. But I do want you to understand some of what the debates that we have as judges. We had a situation in this festival where some band comes and a lot of kids solo. The band had good soloists, and some of the other kids who were soloing, maybe younger, not as experienced, didn't sound as good as the more experienced soloists. So we encourage everybody to let kids play. When you have more people who play who don't play as well as the ones who play, how are we going to judge you? When maybe another band had 3 or 4 of the same kids playing, 3 or 4 experienced soloists. I tend to look at it for band directors and for parents and for kids, something I want you to understand. If Jeff and I, Dave, if we were to think about who won the jazz festivals that we were in 1973 or 74, I'm sure you don't really care. And we don't care either. We don't remember who won. There's a thing more important than who wins these things, and that is the overall direction of our culture. You don't know because you all are young right now. You're not thinking about that. But for us as band directors, parents, we have to think about that. We should be the greatest people in the world at playing our music. That's what we should be. And that's what this festival is a part of. The attempts all over our country to bring our younger people into the highest levels of our feeling and understanding of what our music is. That's more important than whether you win or lose a festival or a competition. So when I hear my kids reaching for plunger mutes, when I hear my clarinet players, when I hear bass players getting that wood out of their sound, when I hear two groove, when I see people playing with no music. When we first started this 16 years ago, we never saw that. We never saw a clarinet player that could play. We never saw bass players who couldn't play without amps. Now we see it all the time. We saw maybe 3 kids who could solo in a whole festival. Now we saw 3, 4, 5 people in one band who could solo. So we're always thinking, how is this going to impact our culture 20 years from now, 30 years when we're gone? So I say, we don't know how to solve that problem of judging because we don't want to penalize someone for letting their kids play. And the only way to get experience playing under pressure is to play. Sometimes you mess up. So you come back and you play again, it's just music. We're not in a war. You're going to survive tomorrow. You'll be all right. And I want to say that I love the spirit of the kids here. I love the fact that people are encouraging toward other people that are playing, that they recognize excellence, that they stand up, that they come in with that type of vibe. That's the best part of what our culture and our American way of life has to offer us. The worst part is the kind of ugliness of win at all costs. Our music is not about that. It's about a feeling of community. And you see that community up here with us. We all work together many times. I call Rich, hey, you write an arrangement for me, or can you do this or that? Yeah, man, what you think about this one? We played one of his arrangements in a rehearsal a month ago. When we finished playing the arrangement, he wasn't there. We all said, damn, we need to call him and get him to come give us a clinic. It was so masterful. So we're all each other's fans. Jeff, we played with him and his orchestra. We were like, dang, he's up there swinging. Okay? And there's a level of mutual respect and love that is engendered by this music. This is the thing we want to teach y'all. And we want to say we're proud of all the kids who came here in the band records and they exhibited that. That's what we take away from that. Now I want to say that this was hotly contested. We went to the videotape, you see we're late. We listen to certain bands over and over again. We talk about the rhythm section, soloist. And this is the three bands that we came up with. They're not in the order, 1, 2, or 3. I always encourage y'all to not be mad. If you have to be mad at all these other gentlemen, because I was There's a lady here you can be mad at her, Anna Castillo. She's sitting right there. If you want to be mad at her. But don't be mad at me. Roosevelt High School. At 7:30, and we're going to announce all of the awards. We have a lot of soloists and outstanding sections. We have so much good music. We're going to announce everything at the end of the concert. Now Joanna's going to come back out and give you all some details on tonight. Thank you very much for